Hey guys, we are live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today I got you guys a brand new guest. I have Ryan Hogas here with me today. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, thanks, man, for sure. I've been a follower of your channel for, I don't know, at least 2 years now. I've been following you, and I saw recently that you were featured in the news. So, real quickly, in case people don't know who you are, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and tell them what it is that you do.
Sure, yeah. My puppy Satoshi also decided to pop in as soon as we went live. So Satoshi says hello. If you can't guess, I do like myself some Bitcoin, hence the name Satoshi for a dog. If anybody was wondering why the name. Yeah, I'm an e-commerce seller. I used to be a web developer, but I decided I wanted to find ways to make passive income online in hopes to not have to really, I guess the main driving factor might have been not wanting to deal with Northern Virginia traffic. It's awful. So started like my online businesses in I mean, I've been selling on eBay specifically since 2005. So it's been a while, but that was never really I never really positioned myself to be able to do it passively, right? Today I do have a little bit of passive income on eBay, which is nice. I can talk about that. But really, I focused on Amazon initially with FBA. Found out about a program called Amazon Merch. Really like started and scaled those businesses up to the point where, I definitely could have left my job earlier, but I ended up leaving in February of 2020, kind of before everybody else was working from home and everything like that. Like I
Yeah,
honestly probably could have held on to my job for another year. But yeah,
yeah,
so I mean, and I started a YouTube channel where I talk about that stuff. That led to me getting like an invite from someone, an editor at CNBC, to be
yeah.
featured in like the side hustles section. So that was really cool. I walked into the barber shop yesterday and someone was like, "Oh my God, it's you." They had a screenshot on their phone. So pretty cool.
Hey, that's crazy the way the world works, Ryan. Is that I've been a subscriber of your channel for a while, and if you guys don't know Ryan, he's trying to be modest, but he has like over 100,000 followers or subscribers on the YouTube channel, and so you were a web developer, and so I want to get into this. So you're a web developer, and then one day you just thought, man, I'm tired of working this 9 to 5 job. I'm tired of sitting in traffic. So you thought there's got to be a way I can make money on this e-commerce way working from home, and that way you could kind of be your own boss and set your own hours. It wasn't because you didn't want to get out of work or anything like that. You're just trying to find ways to be more efficient, right?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely great on both sides, right? Because you don't have the traffic and, you get to deal with, you really kind of set your own schedule and do everything you want from the comfort of your home. So yeah, it was a win-win.
Okay. And so, what did your family and your parents and your girlfriend, what do they say when you're like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to quit my job and be a full time entrepreneur working from home. Where do they kind of look at you sideways a little bit, or what?
You know what, man? Like, I'm not. I'm not really in a network of people that kind of like my girlfriend, by the way, she sees kind of things the way I see it, which is nice. Like, I don't know if I rubbed off on her, if we're just kind of at heart, like both similar in that regard. But most people in my life, like, do kind of what's expected. You know what I mean? Like, and it's all good, right? Like, that's our innate programming, or maybe it's not innate. I don't know. I don't know what's inside of us by default, but I know that kind of like being raised in the world that I was brought up in, I wasn't challenged to try to be exceptional. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't challenged to do things that were exceptional. I was challenged to, you know what I mean? Just make a little bit more than everybody else working a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? That was like my parents' idea of exceptional for me. And I guess like that was fine. I did that. You know what I mean? I did do that. I got my job as a web developer. I went and got a master's for no reason, which then I was like, what the heck did I just pay for? Right. So I ended up teaching web development as well. So I was working like two jobs really for a while. I taught at the college level for 5.5 years. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I left both of those behind me, man. Like it's nice now to be like full time doing my own stuff. Cause like it's really uncapped potential. You know what I mean? Uncapped upside. Like by the way, I didn't even plan on starting a YouTube channel. So it's like crazy being at, 120,000 subscribers now. Since that article went live, I think I gained like 1,000 subscribers a day. It's crazy. But that was never even in the plan. It was really just to kind of stay in the shadows and do the e-commerce thing. But YouTube was such a like a logical complementary income stream in its own right to just tell my story once I felt like I was successful enough to that people would care. Um, and that's been, and plus also, man, just between us, like there's been people that were selling courses that I just knew they were full of shit. You know what I mean? I try not to curse, but like, you know what I mean? I just knew they were full of it. And that really inspired me to launch my first course. But my first course, like I spent over a year building, which was too long. You know, I spent over a year writing an FBA course. And, but anyways, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, you know, a big part of my story was it's like, I didn't plan on doing YouTube, but I should. And then I'm like, okay, I got a YouTube channel. Look at these like fake gurus selling these fake courses. Like, let me make one because I actually know what I'm talking about. So
I'm with you, man. I could make a course if I wanted to, just about selling stuff on eBay or Amazon, but I just haven't got around to it. I want a lot of people to be kind of just jump into there and fight the wolves and skin their knees and elbows, because I think that's the best way to learn, is kind of making mistakes where you ship the wrong package to the wrong customer to the wrong address, and you kind of, you know, make mistakes as you go. I think that's the best way to learn, honestly. But yeah. So tell me real quickly. I want to talk how it is for you, because you were going from being a web developer to now having 100,000 subscribers and being featured on MSN Make It. It's like you can't go anywhere out in public. People probably recognize you now, huh?
we have a real test this weekend. I'm going to like a in Washington DC. There's like this huge like EDM concert hall called Echo Stage. So I'm gonna be there, you know, with a bunch of young people who probably do not care about what's going on CNBC, but we'll see, because I'll be around a couple thousand people, so that'll be interesting.
Hey, that'll be awesome, man. I'm happy for you. So we're live. So if anybody in the chat, if you have questions for our guest, drop it in the chat. I wanted to say hello to our viewer here. Joe51 says, "What's up, Duff?" Hey, thanks for guys for jumping in and hanging out. If you have questions for our guest, go ahead and drop it in the chat. So tell people, the title of our show today is how to generate passive income from print on demand. So I'm not an expert in this niche, and I know you've been doing this for 5 or 6 years now. So kind of briefly explain, you have to explain in layman's terms what this means and what print on demand is and how you can generate passive income from it. Because on like the article, the news article says you make like $14,000 a month now, and that's basically from your print on demand. That's not counting YouTube ad revenue or you selling courses. That's just from your print on demand. And if you guys do the math, that's over $100,000 a year that he makes just from doing selling print on demand. So kind of tell people briefly what is print on demand, how it works, and then tell them a little bit about how your business strategy works.
For sure, yeah. Print on demand, it's interesting, right? Because like I didn't even know what it was, and I never thought twice about it. I was browsing Reddit on like one of those make money online subreddits, and I came across something talking about Amazon merch. And that really got me kind of started on this path, you know, and I think people look at me as like a print on demand guru today, but reality is I started a YouTube channel to talk about FBA because I felt more confident talking about that. But the YouTube algorithm kind of said, you know, hey, if you talk about FBA, we're going to show you to this many people. But if you talk about print on demand, we're going to show you to like 5 times more people. So I was like, oh, I'll talk about print on demand then. But yeah, with print on demand, it's like you can sell like a, you know, t-shirts like this. Essentially, I can just create a design and create a mock-up of what the finished product will look like. I can sell that mock-up basically as, you know, a promise that, hey, if you purchase this, like I'll send you this product, but the product doesn't exist till after the sale takes place. And you know, there are people who have like the blank t-shirts in their house, you know, they got to keep them in stock, and then they have the machine they can print. I'm not about that life. You know what I mean? If you do that, obviously you make higher margins, but there are companies that exist that can do all that for you, that have, you know, warehouses with lots of different products to offer, lots of colors and sizes, you know, all those things that you'd have to deal with yourself. They pay the employees and whatnot. So I farm the work out to them. And what's cool is, and like a big one that you might have, if you've ever looked into the space, like Printful, Printful is a big one, probably the biggest. And they've done like millions and millions and millions, like tens of millions of orders fulfilled. And they've got infrastructure around the world, right? So it's like they have software that will connect via API to Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and it makes it real easy to just launch your store today, you know? And I mean, a lot of questions, or one of the most common questions I get is like, how much does it cost to start? And it's like, you can start Printful for free. So that's $0. You only pay Printful when you have an order that they need to fulfill. So like, let's say I sell you a t-shirt for $25 and Printful is going to charge me, you know, $10 for the shirt and $4 to ship it. So now I've got an $11 delta, and I need to pay the marketplace their fee. You know, they all want their referral fees, and whatever's left is mine to pocket. You know what I mean? And it's kind of that simple. I mean, obviously it's much more nuanced. Like each marketplace has its own strategies. If you want to run ads, all that great stuff, but at a high level. That's really what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I've been at it since early 2017. You know, I mean, I really started my journey late 2016, but I got my first sale in early 2017. I actually have income reports from early 2017 through the end of last year, both on YouTube and on my website. So it's like you can go and actually see how long it took me to grind. Nothing about it is impressive, right? Like people love seeing that CNBC article with the big numbers, but the reality is like, you know, like people used to like laugh at me. I'd tell them, hey, I made 2 sales on Amazon of these t-shirts, you know, and they'd be like, whoa, how much did you make? I'm like, I don't know. I made $8. They're like, dude, $8? They'd laugh at me. You know what I mean? But I was like, dude, you know that if I make $8 today, one day that's going to be 16. You know what I mean? Then 16 is going to be 32. But I don't know what it is, man. Some people lack that foresight. A lot of people. And I'm not trying to hate. I hope that everybody watches this video. Like you just heard the story. Back then, I was as confident as I could possibly be that I would be where I am today. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, what's stopping me from getting here? Nothing. Just showing up and putting in the work, which I have no problem doing. So that's really it, man. I just grinded.
Well, you know, what's kind of funny is that a lot of people, the way that they were kind of grew up with their household, with their parents, it's like, you know, my grandfather worked in the Ford assembly line. My uncle worked there in the assembly line, you know, building cars and trucks at the Ford assembly line plant. And when I grew up and graduated from high school and college, you know, I was working at General Electric on the assembly line. And that was like my job, was just building washers and dryers and working on the assembly line. And I think a lot of people have this mentality of they're going to go work a job for 20, 30 years, then they're going to get a pension or their 401k, and then they're going to retire. And it's like they don't kind of look outside this box of other little side ventures that they can do. It's kind of like the same thing. It's kind of like I could say, hey, I have this, you know, air conditioner remote that goes to a GE, you know, window unit, and I got it for 50 cents and it sells on eBay for 20 bucks. And they're like, well, what's 20 bucks? That's no money. Well, then if you get 10 sales a day times 20 bucks, now you're making an extra $200 a day in sales on eBay. But with your business model, you don't have a lot of inventory stacked up in your house. You don't have a lot of money tied up in cost of goods for merchandise. All you're doing is just basically, you know, generating this mock-up. If you guys don't know, he gets like this blank T-shirt design. You come up with these designs or logos on T-shirts. They have hats, hoodies, coffee mugs, whatever. You come up with this design. People purchase this design, and then after they actually pay for it, then that's when they actually slap the logo on the shirt and then ship it off the customer for you. And you don't have, you know, 8,000, 10,000 random items in your house and stuff to sell on eBay. You have it all basically virtually online through Amazon merch. And I think you sell on, not Shopify, but Etsy as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the beautiful thing. And that's one thing that I think sets me apart from a lot of people that are out here, you know, the talking heads or whatever we call it. Like, I teach, and I mean, again, I never planned on being like the teacher of this, but I just tell people about my complementary approach, right? I call it Ryan's method, even though there's nothing proprietary. It's like, if I design a t-shirt, right? Generally speaking, like it's a portrait, vertical box of space. And I can take that and I can go put it on a sweatshirt. You know, I can put it on a tank top. And you know what else works really well? Coffee mugs. You know, so it's like I can take one design and I can go put it on all these products, and then I can go put it on all these marketplaces. And like, you know, not everybody needs to use my approach. I run this like private community that I launched last month, and I sat down with somebody in it a couple days ago, and I realized this person is like an incredible graphic designer. By the way, I suck at graphic design. So you definitely don't need to be good at design to be successful, but like this dude is incredible. And so his approach doesn't need to be like mine. Mine is almost like if Amazon lets me post 100 products a day, I'll post 100 a day. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to get a sale because I'm selling what someone wants, and it's like me and maybe 0 other people selling it. You know what I mean? That's kind of my edge. And it's not like I still make good looking designs, but I'll never be able to do anything like this other guy who, you know, he showed me all his designs. I was like, dude, these are amazing, you know? So I'm not, you know what I mean? He can jump into like really competitive niches. Like right now, Thanksgiving shirts sell well. I'm not selling anything Thanksgiving related because I can't compete, you know? And even if you have a really good design, obviously like there's saturation, right? You need to probably run a couple ads to guarantee people even know your product exists, just given, you know, how many products Amazon has to decide to rank, you know, who ranks on top of page 1. If you're not on page 1, nobody knows you exist. So, you know, that whole dilemma. But yeah, and like you were describing the process, man, no customer even knows like what print on demand is, or that it's print on demand. That's kind of the other thing. These mock-ups, the software, they pretty much do it for you. Like the workflow for me to post a product to Amazon is like I'll go sign up for Printful for free. Then there's the one-time integration process where I need to integrate them with Amazon. That's a little, it's not like tricky that you wouldn't be able to figure it out, but like, it's more work than, for instance, if you want to connect Printful to Etsy, that's 2 clicks. You click twice, done. You know what I mean? And then you're good to go. And then all you need to do is like go to Printful's catalog, select a product like a Bella Canvas 3001. There's a brand called Bella Plus Canvas, and the 3001 shirt is probably the most commonly sold t-shirt, or the Gildan 16,000, I think it's called. And I don't know why I'm blanking on that. Gildan 16,000 is what it's called. And like, you can select the product, upload your design, set a title, set a price, click submit. It'll generate the mock-ups, push it there to Amazon or to Etsy, and then it's available for sale. And if it sells, the whole fulfillment process is automated. You don't have to do tracking or anything like that. You don't have to ship. You keep a credit card on file with Printful so that, when they detect the order, it just bills you, whatever you owe them. Like I said, if we sell for 25, it bills us 14. We pay Etsy, and then we get what's left. We get like 9 or 10 bucks what's left. So good deal.
Okay, cool. So I want to talk briefly. So if someone wants to get started in this, they don't need a bunch of capital to get started. What if they're not a very creative type of person? They're just like, bro, I can't come up with any designs, because there is like copyright infringement. You can't just find someone else's best-selling shirt and then copy their logo and slap it on there and say, oh, it's yours. If you can't use stuff like Coca-Cola, it's got to be your own designs you come up with. So you hire somebody to kind of outsource it, or what is your philosophy as far as coming up with all these different designs?
Like, it's evolved over time. I will say there's a program called Amazon Merch. So it's like a subset way of selling on Amazon that's not Seller Central, which Seller Central is like where you do FBA and stuff. Amazon Merch has kind of paced my approach for print on demand, because when you start, you can only sell 10 products. But if you're successful, they'll increase from 10 to 25, and then from 25 to 100, 100 to 500, 500 to 1,000, etc. So like that, me achieving success there has paced me and paced my approach for how I do things. So when I started, it was all by hand. Everything was like super well researched. I'm not a good designer, but like I'm willing to keep trying to get better. You know what I mean? So back then, I would spend an hour plus on every design, just because it was significant. I gotta reset my webcam real quick. Anyways, the way I do it today with 200,000 upload slots is I use automation. So you can actually use, there's a Chrome extension that I helped build with a friend, and it's called Automate POD. It's at automatepod.com. And basically it integrates with like Canva, which is a really popular graphic design web-based application. And it can do like automation of designs. So you can have a design that says like world's okayest teacher, where teacher is a variable, and you can upload a list of, professions like teacher, doctor, lawyer, etc. It'll just swap in and out the words and download the designs for you. And it also works on this other website called Photopea. So photopea.com, which is like I don't really understand how that website exists, because it's literally like they cloned Photoshop, but made it in a web browser and made it free. So it also works there too. And for me, man, like today I have 200,000 upload slots. So I started out with 10, and now I have 200,000. You know what I mean? So when people see me making all this money, it's like, well, I'm on just Amazon Merch, right? Not even talking about Seller Central, because I also list on Seller Central. And I have FBA too, but that's not, not print on demand, obviously. But on just merch, I have 200,000 slots. And I mean, honestly, I'm almost done filling them up. Like,
Really?
they cap my daily uploads. So I already maxed out mine today, but I have 197,000 live designs. You know what I mean? And what's cool about Amazon Merch too is that it pushes them to different products. Like I can even show you, I don't know if you want me to screen share, but like I can just tell you really quickly, like the different product types and marketplaces. So it's like Amazon, when I started, Amazon Merch was just US market, and it was just t-shirts. Over time, they've expanded from just the US market. Now they're in the US, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and Japan. Okay. So all those. And the products include 2 types of t-shirts, a V-neck shirt, tank top, long sleeve, raglan, which is like kind of the baseball style shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip up hoodies, pop socket grips like you can put on your phone, iPhone cases, Samsung cases, tote bags, and throw pillows. So I mean, it's
So
crazy, man. I'm benefiting from all this global infrastructure, and I'm still
yeah,
just here doing my thing. But also, just to answer your question too, like I use automation both for the design creation process now and the upload process. So that's how I'm able to do all this. Like, I mean, I'm a one-man team. I don't pay anybody to answer my emails or anything like that. Like, I just do it all because I mean, I'm here. I'm also a huge computer nerd. You know what I mean? So that helps because I'm very efficient. But that's it, man. Like, so I started out, I used to be like hyper focused, good design, research, all that stuff. Now I'm just like, I don't care. I don't even have to research it. I just come up with an idea and I just go make it happen. But I'll make like 100 designs at a time instead of
yeah.
doing just one, you know?
Yeah, you know what, Ryan? Something just hit me just now. I just remembered who you remind me of. You remind me of the early Spider-Man movies when Peter Parker is like in his classroom. That's what you remind me of, bro. For
Dude,
some
people have
reason,
said I look like him. That's funny.
it just reminds me of that. So yeah, it's a similar situation where someone opens up an account on eBay. eBay will say you only have, 50 listings or 100
Right.
listings to start out. Once you prove that you can, fulfill the orders, get the item shipped out to the customer on time, and you get positive feedback in your store, they gradually start increasing the amount of listings you could have in your on your eBay store. So it's similar to that, but the difference is that you don't have 200,000, random remotes or video games stacked up in your house waiting to fulfill the orders. They're fulfilling the orders for you, and it's all online. So that's really cool. I just got a question. So you said that on the article it said you make about $14,000 in a month in sales. Is that all from print on demand? Because that would be like $500 a day.
You know, it's not all print on demand because like that number, I think they included a little bit of like FBA income, which has been highly variable for me. Honestly, like I'll be completely honest with everybody watching. Like I've been talking to them since June on that article. Okay, like I have sent them. I thought it was the IRS auditing me. Honestly, I did. At some point, I was like, "Is this even CNBC?" Because it took 5 months for them to publish that because they were so heavily scrutinizing my income. And like I asked them not to publish, for instance, like I don't care if I'd rather than not tell like me selling courses, for instance, because this was never about courses in the first place. But I think they mixed in like FBA income there too. That being said, like, my FBA business is like very scaled down right now just because I haven't like really prioritized launching new products. And during COVID, I don't know if you saw FBA, but it's like the warehousing space that they allotted to me, and I know other people as well, was so restricted that I literally had to like kill off products because I couldn't keep them in I literally couldn't keep them in stock. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel like dealing with like a 3PL to like because it just destroys your margins. You know what I mean? Just to basically break even and all this extra headache. So but
Yeah,
print on demand for sure, like 10K a month plus is definitely something that I think is fair to say. Like just
okay.
Amazon merch alone, um, I'll do, probably 6,000-7,000 a month on like the non Q4 months. And then if you start averaging in the Q4 months where it's going to be multiples, um, it's definitely, and that like, by the way, my ad spend, like, I don't know how often you talk about Amazon ads, but like I keep it like very tight. I publish once a month on Instagram on the first of every month, my like ad spend and sales for the previous month. And it's never my ACoS is like 4% max. You know what I mean? It's all very low bids because I don't want to be in there like managing. You know what I mean? I just don't have enough time in the day to be constantly scrutinizing every bid. So I keep it very low. You know what I mean? And if it's not getting impressions, it's like, well, how is my time best spent to maximize my income? Going in and tweaking these bids up 2 pennies or just being like, all right, screw it, maybe they'll sell organically. So that's basically what I do.
Dude, it's funny because the more I talk to you, it's really similar. Like when I sell stuff on eBay, we have promoted listings, and you can do through promoted listings to help drive more traffic to your items. Because if your item is on the back page and there's, if I'm trying to sell this remote and there's 200 of them listed on eBay and your item's on the back page, no one's going to see it. So I've been spending money on promoted listings on eBay to help drive traffic to my items, help generate more sales. And you can say if you want to do 3%, 5%, 10%, you sold on eBay before you know. So
Yeah,
it's
I love
really
how
simple.
eBay does it. I love how eBay does it, honestly.
Yeah, and so what you guys are doing, but we only have to pay for the promoted listings after it converts into a sale.
Yeah.
So what would be your top 3 tips or piece of advice to help a newbie person get started into this and selling print on demand? What would be your top 3 tips, piece of advice?
Yeah, and I have a good eBay story for you too before we leave too. Just one that popped in my mind of how I did arbitrage and made some decent money years ago.
Go ahead.
You want me to start with that now?
You go ahead. We can do that, and then you give everybody your top
All right.
3 tips or piece of advice. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been an eBay shopper, by the way. Like I said, I've sold on it since 2005, but like never like, like you know, I'm definitely was never even close, but kind of like a just basic eBay, go dig up my old Nintendo systems and sell stuff like that. But I also like love buying on eBay, mainly because they take PayPal and Amazon doesn't. But like I love shoes. I'll waste my money on like 2 things in my life, basically. Well, more than 2, but 2 things online, like shoes and upgrading my computer. So I was just looking at buying, I think, Reebok pumps, and I was about to drop like, I don't know, $200 on a pair on eBay. The old Reebok pump shoes that you pump up, classics. And I remember I
Yeah.
found a pair on this website called Jimmy Jazz, which just sounded like a scam. So I was like, I'm not going to buy them. Plus, they were only $60, and I was like, that's ridiculous. That's a scam. And right as I'm about to check out on eBay, I was like, hold up. If that's not a scam, I can list them on eBay for $200 and just do online arbitrage. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I'm just going to risk the 60 and buy them from that other website. And also like using like the cashback, Chrome extensions and using the coupons and stuff like that. I was able to get the price down to like $54 maybe. And ended up they were real. It was a real website. I just hadn't heard of it before. So and it turns out it's like a pretty well-known website. I just typically, I guess, probably buy off of like eBay. And so I ended up like just doing arbitrage online to eBay from this website that was a reputable site, making like 100 plus, profit per sale until they sold out. And then I was like, damn, they sold out and like, you can't get these shoes anymore, and they're like classic shoes. I was like, man, if I just bought those and sat on them for 2 years, like they go for like $300-$400 now, but either way, I mean, the money was great. And that was like unplanned. Sometimes you just have to be like open to it. Like it was right in front of me. And it was like, just like something slapped me and said, dude, wake up. Like this is opportunity right here, So that was a good eBay story for me. Regarding starting print on demand, honestly, like all the cliches remain very true for print on demand. It's like not overnight instant wealth. It's very much a long-term thing. And what's cool, it's a double-edged sword, but what's cool about it is you don't need a lot of like startup capital, if any. Like open up a Printful account free. Open an Amazon Seller Central account. Well, that's $40 a month. It's not required to do that, but I would recommend it. Like all those products I listed in 2017, they're still available for sale, and the fulfillment is still automated. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm reaping the benefit of that. That's how you get to these high numbers. Etsy, 20 cents a listing. eBay, basically free. Like, so it's just like keeping that long-term perspective, low startup costs, if any, but also that's a double-edged sword because low barrier of entry means higher competition. So just keep that in mind. Whatever, figure out what your edge is and just kind of work with that. Just whatever your edge is, like, and even if you don't have one, like chances are you do, you know what I mean? Chances are you do, as long as you're just like paying attention. I don't know how else to really elaborate on that. Like, obviously I sell courses on this where it's like all these nuanced little details I go in depth on. I'm like, yeah, okay, make sure you do this. Make sure you do this. A lot of people don't do this. Make sure you do that. Like make your designs good enough. I always do air quotes. I say good enough because you can go and look and find really bad designs. Well, no one's buying those. So just make yours a little bit better. And typically there's like a templated way of making designs without you having to like get the creative juices flowing. It's kind of like, hey, you see this working over here, go back to the well, just save it as a template and open that back up and just edit out the text or something. So yeah, just keep it simple, make it work for you. Keep in mind, it's a long-term business. If you don't get instant success, just remember, it's like, I'm always thinking like 5-10 years down the line. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. So
Ryan, with your, print on demand business and YouTube ad revenue and selling courses, you're probably doing somewhere between like 15, 20 grand a month right now, aren't you?
I don't even know the number, but for sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
It's gotta be. Anyways, I wanted to give a quick shout out to a few people here in the chat. Guan Pug says, hey, Jeff and Ryan, haven't seen you live in a while. Good to see you. We had a quick question from the chat. Says, HighFlyG123 says, what is a list of programs that he uses to help for beginners? Do you have a list of programs that you could give the people that they need to get started?
Yeah, your best bet, honestly, is to like not overcomplicate things with a bunch of programs. Like just write down the website Printful and use that as like your guide, because like Printful integrates with Etsy. So you would go to Printful and then you're like, okay, where do I sell? And you go to stores and it says Etsy and you're like, okay, go to Etsy. And then it's like Amazon. So go to Amazon. You know what I mean? Yeah. eBay, go to eBay. Use that as like your guide. And then in terms of like all you need for a design application to create these designs is like again, nuance everywhere, right? But like Canva, Canva is a very, very, very user friendly, very popular now graphic design like application that does much more than just like print on demand design. But that is so user friendly that I would say if you need to just start from scratch with not really knowing, like that's a great place to go because, like I said, it's just easy to make nice looking designs. So.
Yeah, guys. So I told Ryan before we came on today I was only going to keep him on around 30 minutes. So if you guys want to learn more, you can follow him on YouTube and Instagram. Tell them where they can go by and check you out at on YouTube and Instagram because you have like over 100,000 subscribers now, and you have probably what like 1,000 videos on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, good guess. Yeah. Yeah, I do daily content. Again, never planned on that, but it's one of these things, man. Like I just that when I do that, I feel like I worked, because when you're your own boss, like how do you know when you've even worked for the day? It's interesting. It's like it's a weird mind game. So I was like, you know what? I'll do daily YouTube content and see how that goes. And it's been working for me. But what's funny is like I use a template approach for YouTube the same way I use a templated approach for all this stuff, and it lets me like do a lot of things without like stressing myself out too much. So yeah, it's Ryan Hogue Passive Income on YouTube. So Ryan Hogue, I think you just type it in, it'll probably hopefully autocomplete at this point after the CNBC article. And then Instagram is Ryan Hogue Official, and everything is linked from my my YouTube. And yeah, another fun fact about the income, by the way, man, because we're all hustlers here, right? We're all e-commerce sellers. Like my end goal isn't just to build like good cash flow, but like I just really think that the financial markets, not just investing in stocks, but like being a trader, playing it both ways. That's something that I take a lot of interest in, like really since 2020. So almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
Daily repetitive grind, repetitive practice, repetitive studying, smart people. My plan is to like, honestly, like use a lot, like parlay a lot of this like cash flow. And I've already been doing it, but like, I'm getting better constantly. I think that'll make me like seriously wealthy as opposed to, like even if you make 20K a month, like the central banks they have us in their crosshairs. You know what I mean? 20K a month today is not what it used to be. So I'm just saying like my plan is to like use this knowledge of how to basically be a trader, play to up, play to the down, and trade like major stock indices and stuff like that to make more.
Ryan, you're still a young guy. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years from now? So where do you see yourself if I came to you, if I called you up 5 years from now, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? Are you going to relocate? Are you going to get married and have kids? Like, are you going to be growing your business? Where do you see yourself in like the next 5 years from now?
Yeah, that's a great question too. Honestly, it's always good to like look down the road and have a plan because that like can provide that fuel when you don't, when you need something to motivate you. Nothing's for sure, but like, me and my girlfriend, yeah, we will get married. We'll have kids for sure. I think within 5 years, probably like 3 years from now is what she said. So I'm like, okay, she's younger than me. So
that's what she said, right?
Yeah. And then we might move to Colorado for a year, but I think we'll live on the East Coast and have like ideally a dream home within a couple years that like, we're funny people, man. We keep it real. Like she wants a nice kitchen. I want like a crazy nice home gym because I love working out. And that's really what I mean. That to me, like I want like a sauna in the gym. I'm going to have a LED TV 100-inch. I don't even know if that exists yet, but like those are the things that go through my mind that like for sure, you know what I mean? Like in the next, like the next like permanent home that we live in, like that's what it'll be. So that's like a driving force. You know what I mean? And by the way, I mean, we love traveling, but we want like, I don't think we'll probably own a private plane, but we'll have that membership. And it'll be one of these things where it's like we use it, but we also don't stress over the fact that it is pretty expensive when you travel. You know what I mean? Those are serious motivating factors. I know people like it's like a pipe dream, but it doesn't need to be a pipe dream. If people are out there in real life, like you and me, we're human, right? People are out there just like us doing it. So why not us? So to me, I'm like, no, that's going to be me. I don't know how long it's going to take, but 5 years, I think that's enough time. So.
All right. Awesome. So yeah, guys, I have all the links down below. If you want to check Ryan out, you go follow him on YouTube, Instagram. I have all the links down below. If you want to check out his news article, that's also linked down below. You can go by and check him out. Follow him on YouTube. I think I've been a subscriber now for at least 2 years. That's one of my favorite videos is your income report showing how much revenue you make. So we're excited to have you on. You got to promise to come back again sometime, man. In the future, me and you sit down, up, and see how things are going with your business, right? Is that cool with you?
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm adding 2 new income streams so we can catch up in the future. I'm doing a Walmart right now and Shopify. You know what I mean? I have a nice, like, kind of scalable approach for both of those. So we'll check back in. I'll let you know how those go. But Jeff, man,
you're just like me, Ryan. I got like 7 different streams of income, and I'm trying to stretch it to 10. So it's like always my brain never shuts off. So anyways, guys, go ahead and follow our guests. All the links going to be down below for YouTube and Instagram. He also does have a course. Tell people briefly what you offer in the course. If they have no knowledge, they've never done print on demand before, they're like a fish out of water. Tell them what you offer in your course. I don't have it linked down below, but you have it linked on your YouTube and Instagram. But tell them briefly what you offer in your course to help them get started.
Yeah. I mean, courses are not required to succeed. I always say go to ryanhogue.com/income reports and look at how long it took me to scale up. Like that was me making, I don't want to say a bunch of errors, but like learning the hard way without guidance. So it's like you can still succeed without a paid course. But if you go to a paid course, you get everything that I do in like linear tutorials. You know what I mean? Like I taught at college, taught web development at the college level for 5.5 years. So I have a little bit of teaching chops. And so what you're getting in the course is like, I always say it's everything you need in the order you need it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's there if you want it. RyansMethod.com for the course.
Okay. Do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom? And then we'll let you go, Ryan.
No, man, I need to get my eBay sales up. So I don't know. Maybe you could help me, but
yeah. Well, we'll talk again in the future, bro. But I don't think you need my help. You're already, like I said, you're probably doing just fine where you're at, bro. And there's only 24 hours in a day, so you just have to decide if you want to spend that time shooting YouTube videos or working on your print-on-demand business or selling stuff on eBay or Shopify. That's like the equal flyer. Like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all these guys. Everybody only gets 24 hours in a day, so you only get to get
their time.
You spend 8 hours sleeping. You got to figure out what you're going to do with the other 16 hours out of your day. All right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on and hanging out with me today. I have some more guests coming up later this week. So I will see you guys later on this week. Go ahead and follow our guests. All the links are going to be down below, and we will catch you guys in the next video. Till next time, we'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day. Bye, guys.